welcome to Festpod, the unofficial Download Festival guide. I'm Neil Wilkinson. This is the place for news and rumours about the festival, advice for going, and where you can have your say too. So now let's welcome my fellow host, Lee Ellingham. How you doing?
Download Festival next week, and I am so excited. I can't wait to go.
It's going to be mega.
It is.
I'm just panicking about packing. I haven't actually started packing yet. And from our perspective, this is the 3rd of June, and the festival is just days away. So we have thoughtfully prepared a packing guide for you this time around. So you'll get our perspective on what you need to take with you. Get in touch with us on the socials by looking for Festpod. Say hi, ask our advice, tell us about how your download is going if you happen to be listening to this at download, or just chime in with whatever you want. We'd love to hear from you. So let's begin with some... Do you know, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We're so
I am
close.
too. Do you know what? This feels a little bit weird how excited we are, because usually when we introduce this, we are really nice and calm and sort of quite professional. But I think, as you can tell from our voices, we're both a little bit buzzing. So this could be an interesting one today.
Yeah, it's going to be mega. See, that's the second time I've said the word mega, and I never say mega normally, but I was just because I'm excited. Let's start with the festival news. Now, there is quite a bit of news, what with the festival happening shortly after this recording. So we're gonna zip right through it because we don't want to bore you. So the set times, the actual map, and the RIP schedule have been released. There is everything. I think we have everything now that we're going to get from them, don't you?
Yeah, I mean... there's obviously one particular band that I was talking to you about that I'm quite gutted it won't be at the festival this year. Obviously, there's potentially a couple of spaces left, but yeah, with all the set times now being announced and the map, it looks like whatever we thought was going to be announced last minute, it's not going to be. For example, the cinema and Air of the Dog, I can't see that on the map, so I mean, it's never wise to assume, but I think it's safe to say at the minute that's not going to be there.
That's a shame. I mean, we were chatting about this. We think they're scaling back slightly to try and recoup some of the losses during the pandemic.
It's either that or trying to save for next year, because obviously, as Andy Coppin has said already, that next year is going to be a big one. That it's going to be, we're all apparently going to be really, really, really impressed with obviously the bands that they're booking, the headliners that they're booking.
Is that what he said?
So. Yeah, so they did. He did a interview with somebody lucky.
Yeah.
At the press day. No, it wasn't us. At the press day, which basically he mentioned that next year we're going to be mega excited. We're going to be excited for who they're going to announce. So I'm looking forward to that, but we won't hear anything about that until probably September or October time.
Yeah, it'll be after this download, won't it?
Oh, big time. Yeah, I mean, there's other festivals that do their band announcements actually at the festival. Bloodstock are known for doing that, but no, Download, they make us wait a little bit longer.
Particularly this year, we've been waiting practically till the actual festival starts before we know certain things. But we have found out there's going to be a spa in RIP, haven't we? Apparently,
the spa is there every year. And the fact that there is one there, I will be waking up early just to get myself a full body massage before going and moshing, because I think I can't wait. Like that's amazing. Like, there's a fucking spa at a festival. Like, I wouldn't have ever thought of it, but apparently it's been there for a few years.
Yeah, So Lee is brand new to RIP. He's never been in all the years of going to download, and it's his first time, and he's still finding out new things about what's there. So I should expect to hear more about that as he discovers more things. And I expect to hear how your massage has gone.
It shouldn't be with a happy ending, but, you know, I might slip it. No, I'm not going to slip him some money for a happy ending. That's just weird.
So many jokes, so little time.
I know.
There are bands performing in RIP as well on the Wednesday and the Thursday, and we have their set times. There's some interesting ones, isn't there?
Yeah, well, again, this was something else that I discovered. Obviously, now I'm doing RIP and found the full list of bands that I play in, which basically means now that we'll get, if you're an RIP, 5 days worth of music, which is really exciting to me. So your Wednesday headliner will be Witch Fever, who I've been giving a listen to, and they are really good. So that's a decent little book-in. Banks Arcade, who will be on the Dogtooth stage on the Saturday. So if you've got a Clash on the Saturday, which I do, you could potentially catch them on the RIP Courtyard if you've got an RIP ticket, which I'll probably end up doing. We've also got Profiler, Devere, Blue Stragglers, who I have seen before, and they are a really good live band, so I definitely recommend checking them out. And Tash.
As
the
in
other
a
three
moustache?
no, just
Have they all got
Tash.
moustaches?
No, I don't know. I was trying to think. The cogs were working. Like I've got to have a comeback to that. I'm thinking I can't. My brain's I'm just too buzzed for this.
Okay,
for
fine.
downloading.
So let's ignore the moustache talk. Tash are playing.
Yes. On Thursday, your headliners for Thursday are As Everything Unfolds. If you've been listening to the podcast, obviously, for the last few months, you'll know I'm very, very excited about As Everything Unfolds because they are from my hometown. So if I get to see them twice this weekend, this will be awesome. They are playing on the Avalanche stage on the Friday, obviously, but they are playing on the Courtyard stage in RIP. Everyone else underneath them, led by Lanterns, Defects, who we mentioned quite a lot last time. They are playing quite a few festivals over the summer, and I had to give them a listen because of that, and I would recommend popping your head in and seeing them because they are a really, really good band. Lake Malice, who I saw supporting in Visions about a month ago, or a couple of months ago. Again, recommend them. They are a really, really good live band, very exciting. Knife Bride, Hawks, and that looks the way that's spelled. That looks like snacks to me.
That's what I thought when I read it. Snacks, but I doubt they've called themselves snacks. It could be snakes, because that sounds a bit more metal-y, doesn't it?
Maybe.
SNA.
Isn't that just bloody typical? You and I have both just automatically gone to food.
Well, I think yeah, exactly. Hawks and snakes. Punk Rock Factory have also been announced for an hour-long slot in the Doghouse. Is that on the preceding day?
That'll be on the Thursday. If you've not heard of Punk Rock Factory before, I recommend giving them a good old listen to. Expect your favourite kids' TV programmes theme tunes with a little bit of a punk rock twist. I
can't wait to see this. This is interesting to me.
They are hilarious. It's brilliant. Pokemon, Thunderbirds. I had a massive list in my head then, but I mean, just those two alone, you just think, oh wow,
Rainbow?
this is like looking like potentially.
Are you aware of Rainbow? Do you know about Rainbow?
I zip in all that like
yes, I was 50-50 whether you would actually.
I never watched it though, but obviously I know what it all is. Obviously, I'm probably more aware of all the videos that they made after Rainbow went off air. Which were like all the there's one video on YouTube you'll be able to find it. It's just like all innuendos, and it's just it's hilarious.
I met the bloke who played Bungle.
Did you? That's
I did a Christmas light switch on in Sandbatch for a particular radio station, and he was one of the. He was actually he wasn't as Bungle. He was playing Widow Twanky in the local.
I'm sorry. I beg. Widow what?
Widow Twanky. Have you? Oh, you're not into pantomimes.
Widow Twanky.
Yes, that's the actual name of the character.
That. And why are you not making a joke about that? Twanky. That sounds
because
weird.
That's just such an obvious joke, isn't it?
Then you should have made it.
But
that obvious.
I was quite disappointed as a I mean, Bungle was never a childhood hero, but to meet the guy who played Bungle, and
of course,
to find out that actually he isn't everything I imagined him to be, it was quite disappointing. There's more I could tell about that story, but I fear Bungle's wrath, so I won't. But yeah, quite disappointing. Old Sarum Tattoo returns. So if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, have a look at oldsarumtattoo.co.uk/download for their rules and booking slots and stuff. Old Sarum Sarum, Sarum, old Sarum tattoo. Are you going to get a tattoo this time around?
No. So I did read their rules and regs, and obviously just to obviously clue myself up. And they recommend not drinking for 24 hours before you do it.
Oh well, fuck that then.
Obviously alcohol can thin the blood, and obviously if you got tattooing and you are a bit of a bleeder, it's just going to it's just not going to work out.
If you're a right bleeder,
if you're a bleeder, if you're thinking of getting one, the rules do state that basically they don't want you drinking 24 hours beforehand because it will fuck it up basically. So
you're going through all that pain for no gain.
Exactly.
What would you have if you were going to have a tattoo?
I'd probably put if download related, obviously download tattooist. So I'd probably get the dog or something on me somewhere. I am going to get some tattoos at some point.
Oh yeah.
Just need to save up a little bit of cash to be able to go and get it. Yeah. I bet you can't guess what band I'm thinking about getting tattooed on my body.
But where are you going to have them? That's the question.
It'll be on my arm or something somewhere. It's not going to be anything weird or anything like. It's not going to be like a massive V of envisions on my butt cheek.
No. See, we've all got an image now of your butt cheeks.
Good. You can keep that image in your heads and in your head alone, because even at the festival, you probably won't see it.
Download Festival have announced new names for the main stage and the second stage, which I am not convinced that anybody has actually voted on, because they did put it to a vote. They were asking for suggestions on what to call the stages, but I think they've just gone with whatever the hell they felt like.
Yeah, it's just so obvious, unfortunately. Like, I don't want to talk bad about the festival, but this was just such an obvious sort of ploy to get people engaged. And whilst you do need engagement, obviously, with your fans and that, to sort of go around the route of please send in your suggestions of a stage, which everyone did. I think I saw the most popular ones was the Taylor Hawkins, obviously for Foo Fighters drummer, Chester Bennington, Linkin Park, and Stagey McStage, which is hilarious. And they didn't even make it through to the 3 or 4 choices they gave us. The Castle, Reaper, Opus, and there was something else.
Do you know what? In the past, they have done the Lemmy stage, haven't they, for the main stage?
Yeah, so the Lemmy stage, I think, was only a thing for 2016, because obviously that was the year between obviously the festival before and that festival that he died. And I think it was named Lemmy stage once, and that was it.
And that's fine. So but I would expect, because if that sets a precedent then, because if you want to remember old rockers who've passed away, that's a really nice way of doing it, I think. So if you're then going to do it for Lemmy, you then have to consider other people. I mean, particularly Taylor Hawkins, who's only just passed away. And I think that would have been a great name.
I would have preferred Chester Bennington, because Linkin Park have played the festival a few times. Obviously, no disrespect to Taylor Hawkins. Obviously, he was a great drummer. He was an influence on an inspiration to all of us. I think Chester Bennington would have been a bit more appropriate because of the amount of times he was actually at Download.
Well, there's more than one stage.
Of course, absolutely. Again, second stage has got a new name as well, so you could have whacked 2 names on those 2 stages.
But they've chosen Apex for the main stage and Opus for the second stage. I mean, I don't know what that means, really.
So, actually, I looked it up because I was interested as like what the hell is the meaning for it. So, Apex is like it's supposed to be like the top of something, like the pinnacle or something that's amazing, if that makes any sense. Opus is to do with classical music. I can't remember the full explanation of it, but it's linked in with classical music.
So I just don't get it. Who would have voted? I memean, we did our own little vote, and 0% voted for Opus. Yet the second stage is called Opus. So I can't. It doesn't. What? What?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said. Basically what's happened is, let's get people engaged. Right, we'll ask them to suggest stages. They did that. These are your choices. And then everybody, and I mean everybody, commented saying nobody chose these. Like literally, nobody. The castle, which was one of the choices, would make sense.
Yeah,
because we're in Castle Donington, so I could understand if someone actually suggested that. But Apex and Opus, no, everyone that I've seen on social media complaining about it has said there's no way that anybody chose these names.
So now we know what the names are. We can all be confused about which stage we're going to. Tickets is a hot topic at the moment, as it always is, because this time of year, we're always worried about receiving our tickets and, meeting the postman and rugby tackling him to the ground to get the tickets off him. Because I think you have to sign for them, don't you, when they're posted?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. When they were obviously being physical tickets and being posted out, you'd have to sign for it.
But now they're all e-tickets. I mean, we did I have to say this: the communication about the changeover from posted tickets to e-tickets has been dreadful. There's been so much confusion, which they even acknowledge in a social media post to say, "We know there has been some confusion, so just to put the record straight, they're going to be e-tickets. You're not going to get them posted." And I've, you look on the internet and you read what people write, obviously. About tickets, and some people say that their camper van tickets and parking tickets are going to be e-tickets as well. I mean, who knows what to believe at this stage?
Well, I mean, I want to give them benefit of the doubt. Obviously, they're going to be. I think this could have been better planned, granted, but they're probably rushing around and thinking. Apparently, as well, someone posted on the Facebook that Festival, as like a Festival Republic or Live Nation or whomever is the one that sends out the tickets, forgot this was a 4-day weekend, a bank holiday weekend. So then they had to resolve to e-tickets for absolutely everything. There has been some really poor planning here. And I imagine, obviously, they have been busy. They're obviously trying to get things sorted. Bands cancelling almost left, right and centre.
It's not one bloke dealing with all this. There is a team of people, and they've had 3 years. So I do think that there has to be some... it should have been better, shouldn't it?
Of course. Obviously, with a festival of this scale, things should have been done better. But I mean, you say they've had 3 years, at least 18 months of that. Obviously, that's half the time, really. A lot of these people were furloughed. And then when they were asked to come back, some of them didn't come back. So they have even their own team has been scaled back. This is something I've read on the forums as well. Because someone made the exact same thing you've said. Yeah. Someone made that point as well. That their team has been scaled back ever so slightly. Some employees didn't go back. Some people, obviously, they've 18 months of furlough. It's been a shit time for everybody. It just seems that Download, for some reason, Download has struggled, and Download has not kept the pace with other festivals on their lead up. Maybe the expectation, because Download is such a massive festival, that they should be doing better. But obviously, people make mistakes and things don't always go to plan.
When we put on our festival, Festpod Fest? Eventually,
yes.
I think we're going to learn some lessons from the mistakes of Download. I have to say, there's a mention of people being scammed as well. Like, I don't know how many people are experiencing this, but on the Facebook groups, people are talking about buying tickets from like secondhand tickets or unwanted tickets or whatever from people who obviously don't have any tickets, and then they pay the money and then they lose out. I don't really understand why you wouldn't just go and buy tickets from Download, because it hasn't sold out, has it?
No, it hasn't sold out, and it is very, very unlikely that it will sell out. The only thing that I can think people are doing, times are tough at the minute for all of us, and they're probably being sold or being advertised to be sold at a cheaper price than they actually are. If all you got to do is skim through the Facebook page, the Download Facebook page, and it's almost 101 different people selling their tickets, and it's starting to get it looks so suspect, so dodgy. I agree with you though. Anytime I've looked for tickets, I'm always going to the band's direct page, or again, someone like Ticketmaster, Live Nation, See Tickets, which are great examples for if you still haven't got your tickets, go through them. Do not go through any other. Don't get them secondhand. It's pointless. because you could be scammed, and you probably will be scammed. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
There is a thing, like, I don't know, I haven't really looked into this, but there is like an ambassador scheme where if you sell so many tickets for download, you get your ticket for free or reduced price or something like that, isn't there?
That is a thing, but that's one thing I've seen a lot less of this year.
Yeah.
It's a lot less advertised that ambassadors selling tickets. It's, again, this lead up regarding everything has just been so different. Maybe it's because obviously we've not had this big festival for 3 years, but something just seems so different. It seems like a lot. Again, the Facebook page is full of people selling tickets, and it's getting a bit strange and a bit like, are these people genuinely selling their tickets, or again, are they looking to scam people, or what? You just got to be vigilant and got to be aware of where you're buying it from.
Yeah, absolutely. Then, I mean, there's always that thing of when you buy somebody else's ticket, there's that worry now that it's an e-ticket of how you're going to transfer it over at the last minute, etc. It's just so much easier if you just buy it from Ticketmaster. And by the way, when they do arrive, when you get your little code through on your email, check your junk filter and all that. You can add it to your phone's Apple Pay or Google Pay. And Download has officially said this. So you will be able to have it on your phone, because there's always that worry at Download of, are you going to have any signal to get your emails up to get this code? So you can add it to your Apple Pay or Google Pay if you have that facility.
So obviously, prime example, when we went to the pilot, that happened to me. Obviously, I didn't put it into a folder or whatever, obviously the QR code, but the signal is terrible, and that's for 10,000 people. Yeah. Now, with almost what I imagine, I'm going to guess the number this time around. I'm imagining about 60 to 70,000 people this time. The signal's going to be even worse. Download it to your Apple Pay or Google Pay. If you've not got those apps, download them. It will save you so much more time getting into the festival. Yeah,
definitely, because they're not going to accept a screenshot, because it's I don't know why, whatever.
So the ticket itself. So I've somebody's mentioned this on the Facebook pages, that the ticket itself, it's one of those where if you show it on the screen, the ticket itself, it moves around the screen, so you can't actually screenshot it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. There's something like in the center of what you call your ticket. There would obviously it's moving, so it can't be screenshotted. So I imagine obviously to stop fraud of some sort. I don't know. But yeah, screenshotting will not work.
Rolled over tickets are available in your Frontgate account. Some of us have bought through Frontgate, and they should be coming out very shortly. I mean, it's just such... I can't talk about the ticket situation without thinking that it's just shit, and it could have been a lot better. Personally, I'm not actually worried about receiving my ticket. I have full confidence that it's going to arrive before the festival, because it always has done in the past. Although, anything could happen. But I'm not worried about it.
With RIP, I got an email through the other day regarding obviously your VIP RIP package. Yeah. If it doesn't arrive by Monday, contact them. There is a link in the email to contact them if you're obviously an RIP punter this time round. But if you can't see your ticket at all, tweet, download, tag in Ticketmaster or whoever got your tickets from. Make it public that you're angry, and they will get back to you. I've found this to be a pretty safe way of getting them to contact me back. Is to publicly make them look like crap.
Well, not that they don't do a great job of that themselves already. So there are some changes in the arena. The viewing space that we were talking about is no longer going ahead.
So, thank God. I'm sorry. This seems like a bit more of an angrier podcast, but I thank God that viewing space is not there. It was £150 per day.
That's quite expensive, isn't it? I mean, it's like half the ticket.
Exactly. And all it is just to get a better view of the stage. It's ridiculous that they thought this would be a good idea. No, I think there was maybe a couple of people bought it, but everything I've seen regarding this, it's been complaining, been calling download money grubbing. And I mean, it was never going to be a good idea.
So what was this? This was going to be a raised platform.
So it was going to be a raised platform to the right of the sound tower, to be able to get a better view of the stage.
In the same way that you would have had the accessibility sort of viewing. Is that, I would assume that's still there, though.
That's still there. And actually, now you mention that, where they had positioned it, that would have been in the fucking way of the stage for those in access. Right. So it was never a good idea. I know it works at other festivals. It works. I mean, the whole like Golden Circle thing works at other stadium shows and that. It would not work at Download. The clientele at Download are not the clientele for every festival around the country. They're not quote unquote normal punters. Do you know what I mean? That like the Download crew is a different kettle of fish in many ways, shape or form. But when it comes to this sort of thing, nobody's fucking interested. They want to be either up close and personal on the floor or sit up on a hill where you get a better view anyway.
Yeah, it's not something I would have paid for.
No.
Now, in terms of how, hopefully you've saved up some money to go to Download. You've got enough to get yourself a bit of merch, spend on the food that's going to be there, have a look at the markets. Now, you've got a couple of options here because a lot of things are now going to be cashless. So if you've got a prepaid, like you can get those prepaid cards, can't you? You can put money on. That's probably worth doing. But the market stalls will be accepting cash. Bars, merchandise, fun fair, food, and the car park, it's all going to be cashless. But like I say, market stalls will be taking cash. And there will be some ATMs on site. To obviously, I can't see them being too busy, actually, if it's going to be mostly cashless.
I wouldn't have thought so, but there are always those people that would prefer using cash, and if they don't have to use their card, they won't use their card. But I think the times that we're in now, we're all going digital and end up using our cards anyway. I think
it makes sense for a festival because you don't want to save up £600 of hard-earned money, long hours in a job that you hate.
I'll tell you what, if we were videoing this, you'd see a massive grin on my face now that you mentioned that.
Bring it to Download. I can't even finish the sentence.
No, I know. It's so funny.
Put it in your pocket, fall asleep, and then somebody just reaches into your pocket and then takes it. I mean, what the... Anyway.
Or goes under your tent and steals it.
So, I mean, because obviously cash is physical, you don't want to lose any cash. Put it on a card because at least a card can be cancelled. Now then, when you're in the arena, you're going to want to take a little bag with you. Little bag for all your bits and bobs. A day bag is what it's called here. Do you call it a day bag?
I just thought that'd be easier for us to be able to. We both knew what it meant. Like
I've never heard that before, though.
Okay. So your bag for the arena, which I have dubbed your day bag on the scripts. I'm sure that's what we're going to call it. That's what we're going to call it now from now on. I think your day bag. Yes. It can be no bigger than A4 size paper or smaller, like a bum bag or something like that. Yeah. However, again, a few people have complained online about that being ridiculously small because it is. And Download have officially said on their Instagram comment section that it's a guide as long as it is fairly small and it's not like a camping size bag, you'll be fine.
I mean, they're going to check through it anyway before you enter.
Of course.
And I think it was because this first came in 2017 after the bombing of the Manchester Arena.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make sure, because I mean, it was a hell of a time. They were making sure that any bags that did come through, it wasn't going to take absolutely ages to get people through the gates. And so that was a way of making sure that, well, if the bags are smaller, it won't take as long to search. But things are different now. And that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that they'd said it's just a guide.
Yeah, no, I'm quite meticulous with my download stuff, obviously leading up to the festival. Actually, to be fair, all year round. And I skimmed through the comments section, obviously when they did the FAQ, and there's a few people complaining about the size of the bag, like I said. So yeah, they came out and said basically it's a guide. I could plug a bit of download merch right now. To be fair, they do a they do a see-through, almost like string bag. Do you remember the? I don't know. When you were in school, now, did you ever see the kids with like the string Nike bags or anything like that?
I'm not that much older than you, you know. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I
what was it like, Neil, in the 1950s when you went to school?
Hang on. In my defence, you mentioned things from like the 1980s, which I have no clue what you're talking about. I thought my knowledge of pop culture from the 80s and almost into the 70s was actually okay.
Really?
But there's things you bring up, okay. There's things you bring up and thinking like, what the fuck's are you talking about?
Like records and how
I know
to
what
find
fucking
different
vinyl
tracks.
records are.
No, you didn't know how to find the different
stupid.
tracks though, did you?
Anyway. No, you don't need to. You just listen to the whole fucking thing and be happy with what you've got, which I think is fine. I do that anyway. Going off on a bit of a tangent, if an album's been released on your streaming site or if you buy the physical CD, I wouldn't want to skip the tracks. I'll listen to all of it.
I want to listen to my favourites though. I love it because I'm going to mention Sleep Token. This is the monthly mention of Sleep Token. I have been listening to their albums a lot lately. I think I love them. And
It's a strong word.
Yes, I do, and I consume a lot of their content at the moment, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. And Alkaline, The Offering, and Atlantic are my favourite tracks. And
I'll give you that. Their first album they released, I love every track on that album. It's brilliant. I'm super excited to see them play. The only issue I saw with the set times is that we're going to have to make a dash for it when they finish to go get in time for Frank Carter, because when Sleep Token finish, Frank Carter starts.
Sake. Anyway,
I know.
So moving on, cold cans. Now, you used to be able to pre-order cold cans, like a crate of beer or cider. I mean, it was only Summersby, so we're not talking about anything amazing. From Carlsberg, previous to the festival, used to have a little website. Go and pop your details in and book a crate or two of cold cans, because you'd go up to their tent in the village and they would hand you a refrigerated cold crate of beer. They're not doing that now. Instead, you can go into the bar in the village and get singles. So I imagine that if you walk up to the bar and say, please can I have 24 cans, they'll give them you. But
I wouldn't advise that.
I wouldn't advise that either.
I guarantee you these cans are going to be like £2.50, £3 a pop.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
It could potentially be like pint cans that they can then charge you up to a £5 or £4. But we won't know until we're there. So whilst this annoyed me a little bit when they said it was going to only be singles and they weren't doing the pre-order, because that was such an amazing thing they did.
Great service.
Again, if you're traveling by, for example, Big Green Coach, you can only take your bag, your tent, a chair. It's like you can only take minimal stuff. So to be able to have a slab of beer waiting for you at the festival, it was an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But now you have to buy your single cans or buy it off the draft.
Or you can bring a slab of beer or cider, but it'll be warm.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple of boxes. I've got a couple of boxes of beer downstairs that they're going to go straight into the cooler, or at least put half of them in the cooler.
It's such a
or
shame
when I
because
arrive
that
on
really
Wednesday.
was. I mean, because like you say, if you're coming on the bus, if you're coming on the any sort of public transport, the less that you can bring with you, the better. And if you can avoid, and if you don't mind Somersby, and if you don't mind Carlsberg, then it's great to be able to pick up the cold. I mean, they were cold. And if it's a warm download, if it's a hot download, a cold one, when you've just got there, oh my God, it made such a difference. It really did. You've hopefully put your tent up first and not gone straight to the cold cans. And you sit by your tent and open a cold one.
I have never put my tent up first and then drunk.
Yeah.
I'm drinking in the queue. Well, when I used to have to queue, because now I'm in RIP, I take the car into the festival. Like when in the queue, me and Dave used to nail a couple of bottles of Cornish Rattler before we actually got to the tents, like to set up. So yeah, can't do that now though. On RIP, I'm too fucking good for that.
Not judging. There are shuttle buses between East Midlands Parkway and Derby. So if you were planning on getting on those, you make sure you take some cash because they're not going to take cashless, which I find a bit weird because the buses that go past my flat every day are cashless. I'm not sure what the idea is.
I'm pretty certain most bus services now are contactless.
Yeah.
That is a strange one. I don't understand that one, but because when I lived in High Wycombe, there was a couple of services that would go between Wycombe and Reading that would be you could use your card contactless, and there was only a few buses that only took cash, or you scan the app.
It's a bit old school, isn't it now, just to take cash?
It is. I think cash is pretty old school as it is anyway. I'm still. I got given a bit of money from my in-laws not long ago, and I'm still trying to get rid of it.
Really?
I'm too used to using it. It was roughly about like I think I had about £100 or something. It was all in cash, and I'm too used to using my card that if I go into the shops, just tap and go instead of I've got cash in my wallet.
I know. Yeah.
It's all gone. It's all gone now, but it took me fucking ages to get rid of it. It took me fucking forever to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's yeah, I know what you mean. Because if you want to use it on your card, you've got to go and pay it in, and this can be a pain. I understand that. Now, the Friday fancy dress theme has been announced. What do we think it is? Is it going to be pirates? Is it going to be children's TV characters? What's it going to be, Lee?
New metal. I'm in two minds over this. I think I dress roughly like new metal like almost every day. When they announced it, and I told the wife, she actually said, "Fuck me, so you're not really going to be changing anything then? You still wear shorts, high socks, and baggy hoodies." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
Quite disappointing.
So
I mean,
it's not. I mean, it's kind of what people are going to turn up in anyway, isn't it?
Generally speaking, yeah. I know fashion has obviously changed a little bit since then, but generally speaking, those that come to download are already wearing your baggy hoodies, jeans, may have chains for their wallets, spiky hair, mohawks, stuff like that. Your high socks, your Converse, your Vans, your 3/4 length shorts or jeans, and a backwards cap. Which, I mean,
that's
the
you,
backwards
isn't it,
caps. Oh yeah, the backwards cap, shorts, high socks. And a baggy hoodie. That's me every day. I'm fucking wearing a baggy hoodie right now. That's me every day.
Yeah. So you're ready.
I'm ready to go. I think if I had to give anyone advice for trying to do the new metal thing, come in your Slipknot.
Come in your shorts.
No, come in your Slipknot all in one thing, because that's new metal. Slipknot was considered new metal when they first came out, so you could always wear that.
Are you going to come in your shorts?
Am I going to come in my shorts? Wow, well, Neil, that's disgusting. That's the first time you've actually made me speechless with one of your innuendos. Okay. That was gross.
It's all right.
Slap on the wrist for you.
All right, anyway.
Dirty bastard.
So,
anyway.
Just Google new metal and look at what they wore. You'll see a picture of Lee from yesterday. Coming in his shots. Now, the announcements for download have been I think it's fair to say quite delayed for 2022. There's a lot of things that we're still waiting to hear about. For example, the wrestling. We haven't heard a peep about NXT. Now, that is a staple for years at Download. But we haven't heard anything about it this time, have we?
No. Well, I mean, I started going in 2015, and whilst it wasn't NXT in 2015, it was Progress Wrestling, which they had in the Village. And they did a show. I think they did it on the Wednesday night. They did a show of that, which would be cool for Download again. But then, yeah, since 2016, they did NXT or NXT UK every year, and it's not on the map. There has been no indication from anywhere that it's going ahead. I even thought I'd found a link to say it was going ahead, but I was wrong. So.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, I had some fun with some people on the forum and Reddit when I was trying.
Forum.
I linked it in and made myself look like a pillock because it was the link from 2016. I didn't look at it because I was so angry that assholes, I found it. So if someone just looked on Google, they'd be able to find it. And then like a day later, I looked and I was like, oh shit, I was wrong.
Oh my god, that's
whoops. But yeah, there's been no titter, nothing about NXT or NXT UK. No titters.
Also the cinema, which we're quite disappointed about, because you said it was in the Kidney Wood. Maybe that was the plan for years in the past. But I think
that was the plan. I mean, you go back to 2020, the video that they put on YouTube. The plan was to put the cinema in the Kidney Woods. The Kidney Woods on the map has got nothing on it, like at all. It just says Kidney Wood. So whether or not today, over the weekend, Monday or Tuesday, they're actually going to announce something, then yeah, there currently is no cinema. However, I have it on good authority that they may play some films during the day in either the side splitter tent. But that brings up another good point. We've got the side splitter stage. Where's all the bloody comedians?
Oh, have they not announced the comedians?
No.
Oh my god! Okay. Wow.
Again,
I mean, how are we this close? It's practically festival week, but we don't know who's on. Oh look! Aha! Now then, I'm just looking at. Do you remember there was a little dog blog a couple of weeks ago about the dog house stage?
See?
And at the bottom of that, it says plus comedy, cinema, and more.
Okay, so there is some things.
So it is actually mentioned, but there's no specifics on who's in the comedy tent, what is happening with the cinema, and what the more entails. So, I mean, is it planned? Is it not planned? Who knows?
Yeah, again, technically we've still got 5 days, at least 6 days, until the Wednesday and it all kicks off. We've still got 6 days until it all happens. Obviously, today and yesterday were bank holidays, so I don't imagine we'd hear anything from them then. Then you got the weekend.
I mean, you're still expecting final bands to be announced. You're expecting some more slots to be filled, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I'm not anymore because they've released all the set times. But there just seems to be massive, and I mean massive gaps. Like, so between... Let's have a look. On the Sunday, between Korn and Biffy Clyro, there's an hour and a half.
What?
Between finishing times. There's an hour and a half. Like, surely you could fit in another band in there for a good, about 45-minute set somewhere on the lineup.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, because Korn's playtime is only about an hour and 10 minutes long. All the timings are the same, apart from Wargasm's time. Usually, that opening slot on the main stage is only about half an hour, and they've been given 45 minutes. So,
yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, we don't know if people have pulled out or what, but you know, it's an interesting one. That
the lineup is exactly the same that from last month when we mentioned that the Distillers, The Pretty Reckless, and Code Orange had all pulled out roughly around the same sort of time. And the word that was going around was they weren't going to replace the Pretty Reckless. They were just going to extend sets. But that was on that's for the Saturday.
Okay.
So again, the Sunday, the original lineup for the Sunday was all the bands we see there, plus Thy Art Is Murder.
Oh, we like them, don't we?
I love them. They're fantastic. And Wage War were the opening band for the weekend instead of Wargasm. Wargasm will lie down the bill on the original 2020 lineup.
So there's some interesting choices when it comes to times. Have a look at your Clash Finder. If you haven't done it already, go to clashfinder.com and have a look for the Download 2022 details and have a look at what time your favourite bands are on. I only tend to do that when it's all been announced. Now it has been announced. I can have a look, and I don't like to guess really. I just want the information. I know that you like to plan it on years in advance and stuff, don't you?
Well, the only reason why I do it, obviously, without knowing the specific times and the confirmed times, it's a good little tool for be able to either strike off the bands that you definitely don't want to see and strike up the bands that you definitely do want to see. It's nice and colourful as well. I like pretty colours.
So there's no more bands to be announced. That's it. They're all on the Clash Finder. So have a look for your favourites. Now, good news. There's a co-op this year. We're going to have a co-op, thank God. It isn't actually that much more expensive than going to the one in Donington. There are a couple in Donington, I found out. There's a little one and a big one. One's apparently more expensive than the other. But why bother leaving the festival, getting on the bus, and going to either of those two co-ops when there's one in the village? So the weather, we're looking at the weather for the week, which generally looks good. But it does depend on who you ask. I think we can look generally. It looks like it's going to be a decent temperature in the high teens to early 20s, I think, which is decent. There's going to be some sun with a tiny couple little drops of rain, just one or two little drops. But it depends who you ask, and take your pick really. But it looks all right, to be honest. I think we've had much worse forecasts. But then, as we all know, if you've been to Download before, you can't really trust the forecast anyway. Just pack for everything is probably the best advice, isn't it? Premier Inn at East Midlands Airport is doing unlimited breakfast. So if you like breakfast, as I do, prick your ears up for this one. Eat as much as you like for £10.50 per person for all downloaders, whether you're staying there as a guest at the hotel or not. Tea, coffee. Continental cooked breakfast. A cooked continental breakfast. That's not what I mean. Either a continental breakfast or a cooked breakfast, or why not both? Because it's unlimited. They're having extended opening hours for Download as well. Friday the 10th to Sunday the 12th from 7 in the morning till midday. That's decent opening hours for breakfast. It's 4 minutes from Download site, and it's on the bus route. That's at the Premier Inn at East Midlands Airport. Have we stayed at the Premier Inn?
No, we stayed at the Holiday Inn.
Oh, right.
But if you've watched one of Neil's videos that is on his Wilco Productions, you will have seen that our friend Vince decided to call it the Premier Travel Lodge Holiday Inn.
I don't remember that.
He mushed them all. I found it quite funny. He mushed them all together, and it wasn't anything like because your face was like, wait. Is that right? It wasn't. I'm not sure if I've ever had a breakfast at the Premier Inn, but you can't really go wrong with an unlimited. I mean, it does sound good, doesn't it? For £10.50, eat as much as you like. See how excited I'm getting about the breakfast. I'll go for that if I was you. Metal acts did appear at the Eurovision Song Contest in limited number. In fact, they were barely visible, weren't they? Yeah, there was only one, which is quite disappointing because after the Måneskin in 2021, who were amazing, who would have fitted right in at on the Download lineup, albeit they're going to Reading instead. The lack of metal acts and rock acts this year, which didn't make the show any less great, because I had a fantastic time watching that.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. But in a form of rock and metal was the Rasmus. Do we remember the Rasmus?
Ooh, are we talking early 2000s?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, I
That
remember
one.
that, yeah.
Yeah. They obviously representing Finland with their track Jezebel, and they finished 22nd, which is disgraceful. It's criminal they finished that low. But hey ho, it's a pop song contest, not a metal song contest, unfortunately.
Although they do insist on metal, don't they? There's a few countries that often do a bit of metal for us, and I always enjoy that.
Well, what? So I've visited Finland, and obviously Finland is the home, one of the homes of black death metal and all that sort of thing.
You
So
love it.
I do. The Rasmus to them would be considered their pop music, where obviously we would consider that in this country rock music and metal. Bear with me a second, Neil. What?
Ooh.
Don't ever say Finland's home of black metal.
It's Norway, isn't it?
It's Norway.
All right, fine.
You'll
Yeah.
get a lot of shit for that.
Okay, bye. I've been told. Okay,
Okay,
so
now we know.
yeah, now we know. That's just put me off now.
So anyway, I don't even know.
Clearly, I shouldn't be doing this podcast because I know fuck all. The Finns love heavy music. The Finns love heavy metal music. Okay,
Right,
maybe
yes.
it's not black and death metal, but they love heavy music. So when it comes to bands like the Rasmus, that's their pop music. It's the same with Nightwish. We spoke to a waitress when we were in Finland.
Yeah.
And obviously, we started talking about music, and we love Nightwish. Obviously, we mentioned metal and that, and she went, "Nightwish isn't metal." And I thought, oh, "How dare you?"
Oh, did you really?
Because that's what we thought. We think it is, but obviously, over in that end of the world, it's a bit of pop music.
Haven't they performed at Download? I'm sure they have.
Nightwish, yeah, they opened up for Iron Maiden in 2016, and they were fantastic.
But they're not metal. I love that.
Yeah,
Wow.
but different country. They got different ways of looking at
how
things. It's fine.
interesting.
Finland has not to be too morbid. It's weird. This fact. Finland was considered the happiest country in the world.
Really?
Has the highest suicide rate
Oh, well,
of any other country.
I mean, that doesn't sound right to me. How can it be the happiest place in the world if more people are killing themselves? That's bizarre.
Maybe it's like per capita or something or whatever, because obviously they won't. Their population will be so much smaller than the
Oh, is
UK.
it quite a small place?
Yeah, well, it's not a small place. It's just if you go anywhere above, say, the middle of the country, it's just frozen land. It's all that's the Arctic Circle.
Oh, right.
So it's almost uninhabitable.
Oh, dear. Well, that doesn't sound particularly happy. Is it a nice place, though?
Yes, it was. Helsinki is a lovely city. And that's in the south of Finland.
Okay. The warm bit.
Warmish. It was very cold when we went. It was awesome. I loved it. Loved the cold weather.
Well, yeah, that's why we live in Britain. Now then, to move on from Download, we have announcements from some other festivals. I know it's Download Week, but there are always announcements from other festivals, and we should mention them, shouldn't we? So Bloodstock, Malevolence have replaced Hatebreed and are now the Saturday headliners on the Sophie Lancaster stage. There's another suggestion, actually, for a name of a stage, the Sophie Lancaster stage. I know they've got it at Bloodstock, but I did see that suggested for one of the Download stages.
Yeah, so I mean, whilst obviously let Bloodstock have Sophie Lancaster stage, obviously it's part of the charity, but then obviously Download could have had Sylvia.
Oh,
'Cause she
God,
died
you're
this year.
right. Yes.
Sophie's mother died this year. So, I mean, the Lancaster stage.
Wouldn't that have been
because
nice?
then it would then tie in the charity, and it would obviously it would show obviously support and whatnot for that family. So yeah, I mean that'd been a great suggestion, to be fair. Yeah.
We should be right when we run Festpod Fest. We can implement all of these, can't we?
We'll get in touch with them, and yeah, we'll do it right.
Yes. Okay, so in case I buried that headline with talk about the stages, Malevolence have replaced Hatebreed and are now the Saturday headliners on the Sophie Lancaster stage.
I'm sorry. I know we are covering quite a lot today, so I can't talk too much about this. But that's a fantastic booking. After seeing them at the Pilot and seeing them at Bloodstock, for them to be headlining that stage, that's fantastic. Especially for them, because then they are on download terms. Unfortunately, because of the position on the lineup they're in, they're still a relatively small band, and they have picked up so much pace in the last couple of years. So that's fantastic for them, and I'd tip my hat to them.
There has been a shuffle of bands, hasn't there?
There has indeed, yes. So because Malevolence are now headlining the Saturday, because Hatebreed were originally headlining the Sunday, they've had to move some bands around. Dark Tranquillity will now be headlining the Sophie Lancaster stage on the Thursday night, and the Night Flight Orchestra will headline at the Sunday night. And the other headliner, if we hadn't mentioned, I believe was Sleep Token.
Really?
Which again is another fantastic booking.
Yes. I keep watching them on YouTube, actually, although YouTube knows that I like Sleep Token and it keeps suggesting Sleep Token performances for me to watch. And I can just sit there for hours watching them. I just think they're amazing.
Do you know what I've had all this week? My suggested videos all this week have been bottom
Have
live.
they really?
That's all I've been watching.
Did you watch Bottom Live?
I did. I've watched 5 of them as it goes.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've been really into it the last couple of weeks.
Oh my God. Well, Bottom is my entire humour, which is unfortunate or fortunate, depending on how you look at it. But that's half of my personality, basically.
Oh no, it's brilliant. Like I remember sitting on the sofa as a kid. Like with Dad, my old man watching it, and then one year, just out of the blue, my parents bought me Bottom and the Young Ones box sets.
Oh,
and
wow!
I was like, that's amazing because, I'd love watching Bottom with my dad, and now I can watch it all the time.
Yes, exactly. It's all on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Had you finished with that particular story, the shuffle of bands? I think you had, hadn't you?
I have, yes. The Bloodstock announcements are now finished, and I can move on to another festival. 2000 Trees did a band a day from the 23rd of May to the following week.
Is that announcing that the bands are going to appear, sort of thing?
That is indeed. And I think it's a great idea. Like to engage your fans like that, we're announcing a band a day. That will get you clicks. That will get you engagement every single day.
And it gets people talking about the bands individually as well, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, I think we posted our story every day of every band they'd announced, which again gets
nice
people's
idea.
more attention to them. Yeah. So the bands that were announced, St. Agnes, who we saw at the Pilot and were fucking brilliant. So that's a really, really good booking. Slow Crush, Jen and the Degenerates, Snacks, who are playing on the Courtyard stage at Download, if you're an RIP, or Snakes, either way. I'm sorry, it says Snacks to me.
Just Snacks.
Defects, who are also playing the Courtyard at Download, Uninvited, Helpless, and High Vis. And they've also announced 25 acts and artists from the BIMM Institute, which having looked into it, it's almost like a music and arts college, which they've got campuses all around Europe. And it's basically almost like a startup for those that really want to seriously pursue a music career. So they've got 25 acts of different people from that playing there as well. I'm not going to go through them individually because we will be here forever.
I want to know what BIM stands for.
I tried looking that up as well, and I actually, it doesn't actually say on their website, which is rather infuriating. Because I was very interested to find out what it meant as well.
Well, they apparently launched in 1983. We start life as the world-renowned Drum Tech, a dedicated drums teaching centre, now known as the BIM Institute London. So that's where it started anyway.
Here we go.
We got
Brighton Institute of Modern Music.
Oh, really? Okay, well, now we know.
Yeah.
I've never actually heard of it before.
No, neither had I. This is the great thing about some of these smaller festivals. They bring in things like this that you've never heard of before, and then you see it, and it really gets you interested to find out more. But yeah, BIM stands for Brighton Institute of Modern Music.
So 25 artists who have been through this institute are going to be on at 2,000 Trees.
Si, senor.
Okay. Now, the other interesting thing is podcasts seem to be being embraced by festivals. Sappenin podcast will be recording an episode at 2,000 Trees. I've never actually listened to it, so I can't really comment beyond the fact that it's happening. But it's interesting because Download is doing the same thing. They're having recordings of podcasts, aren't they?
Yeah, with Sappenin and obviously the ladies from We Wear Black. It's going to be interesting. I do want to poke my nose in to see how they do, because obviously, I mean, we weren't critical, I should say, last time, but we had our reservations of how it will go. So I'm really interested to see how it will work more than anything. Time will tell, I suppose.
So then we've got Arctangent announcing their final acts for their August festival. There's some nice ones there, actually.
Yeah, so we've got TWDY, which is their official name, and they were formerly known as This Will Destroy You. Also, Godflesh, which I recognise for some reason.
I do.
Yeah. Also, Devil Sold His Soul. Again, recognise that one. I believe I've seen their name pop up a couple of times. Been quite popular. Puppy, who have played Download before. And again, quite a popular band. Again, never really given them much of a listen myself, but they seem to be on the tip of a lot of people's tongues. Stake, Still, Respire. Is that one band? Respire and Deadbird? I don't think it is. But okay, Respire and Deadbird. Ni Miatres. How would you pronounce that, Neil?
I just wanted to hear how you were going to say it. I don't know, to be honest. Nimatres? Who knows? It looks like it's in a foreign language, and God knows what that language is. So it's spelled Ni space Miatres. Could be anything.
It looks Spanish or Latin. Or Latino, so not Latin, dumbass. And the final band was Peach. That one we can pronounce.
We can do that one.
Yeah. Also, with Arctangent news, Tesseracts have been bumped up to headline the Friday, which I think was a fantastic move. Saw them back in 2018 in Download, I think, and they were brilliant. They are another a smaller band, you could say, that are making all the right moves and have made all the right moves in the last few years, obviously, while pandemic and whatnot. So they are now headlining the Friday. So go and check them out.
Moving on to Tech Fest in the UK. They have announced their day splits, and day tickets are now available starting at £33, which I actually think is a really good price.
Well, I mean, I have said on a number of occasions, TechFest just seems to be the best value for money festival. And at £33 for a day ticket, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it wasn't for the fact I'm doing Download and Download RIP, I'd be going. But that's definitely one on the list that I do want to do.
Then we've got Slam Dunk. The Used are not going to be playing anymore, are they?
No, unfortunately, the Used have had to pull out. One of their band members, Robbie, has been struggling with his mental health at the minute. So he has made the decision that he will not be able to play, and the band have decided, obviously, they're not going to play at all. And obviously, we wish him all the best with whatever he may be going through. And Slam Dunk is this weekend as we record. So all you lucky ducks that are getting all your gear on and going either to Hatfield or Leeds, have a good time, stay safe.
Can you imagine going to Slam Dunk and then going to Download Festival? Oh my God.
I tell you what, there'll probably be a lot of people doing it. Keep your eyes on socials and stuff like that. I guarantee you'll see a lot of people that have gone to Slam Dunk this weekend and going into Download. I mean, I wish I had the money because again, Slam Dunk's one of those I'd like to do, because they do have a lot of good acts on every single year. But as it goes straight into download, it's a bit tight on the old wallet.
A bit tight. And finally, come and find us. Come and speak to us. We are staying in RIP. Now, what we have devised is a game to play where you could win some merch. We have merch. We have designed some merch, and it is quite special, actually. It's quite nice. We have devised a game called Festpod Feud. It's a download quiz where you play against a friend or your partner or against someone in your family, someone that you know. Who knows more about download between the two of you? So it's a quiz. Whoever gets the best of 5 wins. Now, should we talk about the merch?
Yes, please, because I'm quite happy with this. I'm quite proud of the fact that we are doing this. Obviously, you know more about it than I, so crack on.
We have patches. We have Festpod patches. Now, these are quite nice, actually. These were nicely, specially made. They just say Festpod on them in white on black. They are quite special, and there may well be some pictures of these patches on our socials. So have a look, search for Festpod on the socials, and you may well spot some of these lovely patches. I think they're really nice. I'm really pleased with them, actually. And so you could win one of those if you have a game of Festpod Feud with us. If you spot us at download and you've got a mate with you and you want to have a game of this, just come and find us and we will play wherever you find us, because we've always got the facility to record wherever we go, even if it's just on a phone. So yeah, a game of Festpod Feud could win you some amazing merch. There isn't just patches, by the way. We also have some beautiful coffee mugs with Festpod, the unofficial download festival guide, written on the side of it. Some beautiful mugs. Everyone loves a mug, don't they? I actually collect mugs. I've got some lovely ones from some radio stations that I used to work at. But these Festpod ones are so much nicer. They're so much nicer. They're premium. They're nice mugs. They're just coffee mugs. They're just coffee mugs with Festpod written on the side. So they are the prizes, basically, on our Festpod Feud game. It's very exciting, actually. Can't wait to play this with you. So if you see us and you can positively identify us as Festpod, come and find us and we'll have a game of Festpod Feud. How does that sound? So next, we are going to get some advice about going to download in the guide. In this section, we're going to try and answer your questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things that we recommend, and things to avoid. This time, packing. It's always important to remember to pack certain things. Some things are very important for when you go to download, and you don't want to forget them. Now, there are lots of lists on the internet for packing for festivals. Download has even provided its own. But we have some thoughts on what you really need to take to go to download and have a successful trip. Now, we did camping equipment last time around, so it won't necessarily just be about camping, but it's about everything, really. What do you need to put in your bag? I'm going to kick things off by saying you need to take a tracker for your keys, your bags, even to find your tent. Because as we know, losing anything at download is horrific. So don't do that. Just make it easy on yourself. Get a tracker and you'll be able to find anything that you temporarily drop on the floor. An Apple AirTag. A lot of people use Apple. If you're in their ecosystem, an AirTag is £29. You can get, I think you can get 4 of them for like 99 quid or something like that. Nice and easy to use. You can get a tile tracker. I think they're £20 for their cheap one. You can also get them from Poundland. I mean, I can't speak to how good they'll be from Poundland, but I'm told that they're available, so might be worth a look. And when you're wandering through the campsite at night, looking for your tent, it might be easier to just stick a tracker in there or something, a little cheap one from Poundland to try and find your tent. Or even if you just want to stick it on your keys, just in case, because you never know. You don't want to end up like Lee in The Pilot.
Yeah, that sucked. Don't do that. Don't put yourself in a position where you may lose your stuff. That was horrendous, and it did almost cancel the weekend shorter than it already was. A tracker's a great idea. I'd go off Neil's recommendation in doing that.
Of course, we have faith that you're going to keep everything on you and you are going to have a safe time at download. Of course, you don't need any of this advice. You're a seasoned festival goer already. Now, I found out, actually, that blackout tents are available, because in my recommendations last time for camping equipment, I recommended a mask, a sleeping mask, which is probably cheaper than this. But you can get blackout tents, which I didn't know about, which block out the sun in the morning.
Yeah, they are great. So I actually popped into Decathlon one weekend and had a go in one of their tents they'd set up.
Really?
And the minute that you shut that door on your tent, it's pitch black. You can't see a fucking thing.
Oh god.
And yeah, it would be really good. They are the more expensive option for your tent. But if light is one of those things that wakes you up irritatingly, then yeah, it's something that I could definitely recommend. If not, as Neil said, just grab an eye mask. It will help.
From Poundland, probably. Now, this is a good tip. Keep a dry change of clothes in the car. Because when you, just in case there's any mud, there might be one or two little drops of mud. You never know at download. So it's nice to be able, at the end of the weekend, or even during the week, if anything happens to you, you can just go back to your car and have a fresh pair of shoes, clean, fresh T-shirts, fresh everything, just in case. Because the car is the one place that is going to be dry and safe. So it's a nice fallback just to have a change of clothes in the car. Also, I'd recommend dry shampoo, just in case. Again, a lot of this is just in case. Dry shampoo in case, because some people don't like using those showers.
I mean, I can get that. Obviously, the free showers. Obviously, all your bits and pieces are on display to other people, and if you're not happy with other people, potentially catching a glimpse, having a baby wipe bath or shower in your tent with some dry shampoo does work wonders, and it can keep you feeling fresh for the weekend if you don't want to brave the public showers.
You've just mentioned baby wipes. That's a good one.
What is this obsession with baby wipes at the minute? I've seen like 3 or 4 videos online, like on YouTube, where we're not supposed to be mentioning baby wipes.
Why?
I'm so confused.
What's happened?
Oh, this is. I thought that's what you were getting at.
No.
Sorry, I cut you off. No, there's a couple of other people's vlogs that I've seen that people have mentioned baby wipes in a negative light. I can't understand as to why, because they are a godsend.
The only thing I can think is that they might not be environmentally friendly.
Oh, I know that. I know they are definitely not environmentally friendly, but you can get wipes that are flushable, no plastic or microplastics or any shit on them at all. So if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find them. Sorry, I honestly thought you were going to say something about baby wipes, because I've seen it twice now this week on 2 different other vlogs and content creators that have mentioned baby wipes in a very negative light, and I thought that's the route I thought you were going down. I apologise for cutting you off.
Well, what did they say that's so bad?
Something like they're fucking shit. Don't get them. Don't do it. Go for a proper shower. Blah 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 blah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't think there's much of a substitute for having an actual shower. But if you are frightened to death about people seeing your genitals or your bosoms, then use baby wipes. I mean, that's what else. Or just smell and be dirty all weekend. I mean, it's your choice. What I am going to say
To be
as well.
fair, some people do take that route. I do remember we camped near some people, at least for the first couple of days of 2016, who they'll turn up, maybe not even with a toothbrush, get pissed, and just be dirty for the whole week.
And that's their right. But
Of course
I like
it is.
to be...
Absolutely. I couldn't think of anything fucking worse. I hate stinking. I hate being smelly.
I'm very happy with the toiletries, facilities, the showers, and all of that. I'm quite happy to go and use them. In fact, it's I wouldn't dream of not doing, but that's me. Everyone's different. So bring a towel. Bring bog roll, because you may have an emergency situation where you need to use the loos. You go to the nearest portaloo, or the only one that's free, and there's no bog rolls. So take a bog roll. Always take a bog roll, at least one, because you don't want to be caught short and having to... See, I'm painting pictures now of people with shitty arses. Or if you want to use the loo, right, the portaloo, and it's covered in somebody else's piss. Oh, that's beautiful. So you need to...
That's not the word I would use, but yeah.
Sarcasm. So you need to be able to wipe up that piss with the toilet paper that you've brought with you, because people are pigs, aren't they?
Some people are pigs, yeah. I also recommend, as a bit of a courtesy as well, put some of the hand sanitizer on the fucking bog roll or whatever, and just wipe the toilet seat down, because at least then you sanitize the thing before you sit down on it.
This is so disgusting.
Because some people are disgusting, yeah. This is probably a subject we haven't actually ever spoken about, but some people at festivals just completely forget how to act, and they are disgusting. It's the minority, it really is, but it happens.
I mean, I'm not going to go face down sliding through mud either. You know, that's not something I do. But some people do, and that's up to them.
Could you imagine having a shower after that? You'd block the fucking drain with all the mud that's come off you.
I mean, I don't know if I've told this story before, but there was a time in 2013 that I saw somebody get pushed over whilst in a portaloo, and
oh no,
oh Christ, can you imagine?
Not only then are you covered in fucking shit and piss, you're covered in that blue bloody cleaning liquid that I guarantee stains.
Imagine not bringing any deodorant with you on that trip, or any wipes, or a towel, or anything.
I honestly, if that happened to me, I think I'd probably say to you, "I'm fucking going. I'm adding that. That's it. I'm done. I'm going, and you will never see me again at a festival."
Wouldn't see your ass for dust.
No.
So just to run through this very quickly: towels, washcloths, toilet paper, baby wipes, deodorant, please. Toothbrush, toothpaste, washing stuff, soap, shampoo, conditioner, brush, airbrush. Do you brush your hair? You got a comb?
I'll bring a comb.
Bring a comb with you.
I'll bring all my hair products as well. Yeah, got to make sure I'm looking. I say, how the kids say this. I've got to make sure I'm looking leng.
Leng, is it now?
Fucking hell! I tell you, I've worked with a couple of these lads who are like their early 20s, and even one of them's in his teens. Jesus, the stuff that comes out of these lads' mouths, it makes me laugh. All the new slang. I thought, do you know what? I thought, I'm not that old yet. I'm not that old. I know all the current slang. I do. But the things he was coming out with, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Leng is one of those new ones that it's almost like how we would say someone being fit or good looking, or something's really, really nice or really good. It's leng.
Because I've only just caught it with peng. Is that not the same
thing? So that's an old one.
Is that an old one now?
I found out that was an old one. I was just like, really? Fucking hell.
I still have a twinge when you say sick. You call things sick. Oh, that's sick. Because
I twinge of cringe. Like, oh, God, he said it again.
Because I've never said anything that was sick. But there's only a few years between us, but that's what you say. Anyway. Bring sunscreen, bring suntan lotion, because it can be sunny at Download, and I have seen some horrific sunburns from people who refuse to wear sunscreen, and it just ruins your whole week and the time it takes to recover from that. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's likely to be that sunny, but you never know. That's the thing. So bring it.
To put a bit of a horror story in all your heads, if you are listening, in 2015, I believe it was, met a couple. very lovely couple. He forgot to put on sunscreen, and it was relatively warm, and his nose blistered.
Anyway, I don't bring a razor for download. I'm quite happy to let my beard grow.
That's dangerous, man. I'm not being funny. If we're not allowed to bring in glass or gas, why is it acceptable to bring in a razor that can be also used as a cutting tool, a cutting weapon? Maybe that's just me being incredibly cynical, but
I don't know. Some people like to be clean shaven every day, don't they? And I've never been like that. I hate shaving.
No, that's just the effort, man.
Yeah. Hand sanitizer is on this list. Now, I don't know really. I guess you should, shouldn't you? I guess you should. For not because I'm not thinking about the pandemic, but I'm just thinking about general. You know, you're going to be touching things that are muddy. You're going to be touching things that are dirty. So
I always bring hand sanitizer because again, the ones in the portaloos may run out, so at least you've got that something there. But yeah, like you say, I mean, even on the pandemic, I mean, as we found out, touching things can contract and you pick up things.
Bugs.
Like bugs. So easily. So having the hand sanitizer will hopefully eliminate that risk.
So that sort of covers the toiletries. Now you've got your food stuff for the kitchen. So if you're going to make some food whilst you're at download, not everybody does, but obviously knives, forks, spoons, plates, barbecue. Don't forget a lighter or some matches. I don't think they're going to have the Zippo thing this year because I haven't seen anything about it. The lighters. No,
so Zippo, by the looks of it, is not going to be a sponsor this year. They weren't due to be a sponsor on the stage in 2020, and I think Zippo has gone as a sponsor for download.
That's a shame because I know people collect the lighters, don't they?
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed spinning the wheel in 2019.
Oh, that was fun.
That was, yeah. Got myself a little. What did I win? I think I won a bottle opener, which I still have somewhere.
I won a guitar pick. In fact, there were loads of guitar picks that I won because I kept going down.
Oh.
And I won in fact, I won a tattoo, like a fake tattoo thing that you could have. Like when you were a kid and you used to put tattoos on yourself.
Yeah, I'm sure you won a bandana one year as well, didn't you?
Yes, I've still got it.
Yeah.
So that's a shame because I was actually going to buy one this year as well. Never mind. So matches or a lighter to light your barbecue with. Bottle opener, that's a good one. Bottle opener.
Yeah, if you're in RIP, you're allowed to bring bottles. So a bottle opener is a good idea. No glass in general camping. FYI.
No gas whatsoever, unless it's professionally installed in a camper van.
No gas at all.
Now, you want to bring bin bags. Bin bags! Bring fucking bin bags! You want to bring some proper, decent bin bags that won't tear. Don't get the cheap ones because they will tear and you'll end up with your clothes or whatever on the fucking mud. I have seen it happen and the person it happened to was not happy. It made me laugh. But, you don't want it for yourself, do you? So...
When did that happen?
That was in 2016, believe it or not, during the monsoon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. So even if you double up on the bags, it's still not enough. Don't get, smart price ones. Get proper, decent, spend the money, honestly, because it's not worth the picking up your clothes out of the mud. And it says paper towels on this list, which might be worth it. I don't know if I'd bother with paper towels, really.
Oh, napkins, paper towels. Napkins you can get from a bloody vendor if you're that way inclined. You've made a mess around your mouth with a vegan Big Mac burger.
Yes, all down your front.
All down my front.
So now moving on to other stuff like your phone. Probably a good idea to take your phone because you're going to have your ticket on there. Take a cable to charge it with. In your locker, you're going to have a USB attachment thing to plug your phone in to charge it. Or a portable charger. Bring a portable charger with you. That's what I'm going to do because you can use Charge Candy, which we have discovered is actually going to be present this year, but you only get one charge per day from that charger, which I don't think for me, would be enough.
No, they're not great. It's good if you are stuck and you've forgotten a charger or a cable's busted or whatever. They are good in a pinch. I think I managed to buy a cable from them, the Pilot, which was very nice of them. But essentially, you're paying potentially up to about £30 for the week, and it's one charge a day. It's not enough to keep your phone going, especially if you are a content creator and using your mobile phone.
On that subject, also on this list is camera. Some people like to bring a separate camera, which I actually think is a better idea than using your phone. The fact is that cameras are dedicated to be cameras, and your phone is everything to you, isn't it? If you lose your phone, then there's trouble. But if you lose your camera, then it's just a camera. But cameras are, I think you get less flack for taking pictures and doing little videos with an actual camera than you do doing your phone. I think for some reason people who hate that kind of thing hate you holding up your phone. But if you hold up a camera, there's less aggro towards you about it. I think cameras are okay with people, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Maybe it's because you've got the piece of equipment that is supposed to be taking pictures or filming, whereas a phone it's only meant to make phone calls and text messages. Did you know that?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because you see people with like massive cameras there, and you see people with like, proper kit and stuff, and no one looks at them twice. But you hold up your phone, and people go, "He's holding his phone up. Look at him. He's holding his phone instead of watching the gig, enjoying himself. He's holding his phone up." It really riles.
You sounded like Rick Mail then.
Yeah, well, I wonder why. It's a bizarre thing that people have such a reaction to taking videos with your phone. It's such a stupid thing.
Yeah,
all you're doing is holding your phone up, taking a video, taking a picture, whatever. But some people get irritated by that. So take a camera, and they can fuck off, can't they?
I did read something in the on the list of things you can and cannot bring. If you are bringing a camera, sweet. Just make sure it hasn't got anything bigger than a 6-inch lens. Just go FYI.
I don't even know what a 6-inch lens looks like, so I think I'll be fine. We're talking about big, massive cameras, aren't we? Here?
Again, professional sort of type cameras. You can bring a camera as long as it hasn't got a 6-inch lens on it.
Sort of consumer type cameras, I think you'll be fine. Nothing
like an action cam.
Yeah, nothing that looks professional, like you might be a paparazzo or something like that. Your tickets are going to be on your phone, so bring them. Now, there's still, like I say, there's some confusion about whether parking tickets are going to be printable at home or whether you're going to have to wait for it in the post. I think they're all going to be e-tickets, everything. And you print out whatever you want to print out. But who knows? So don't really take any advice from me on tickets, because nobody really knows, do they?
No, I guess it's an unfortunate thing is that the lack of information leading this close to the festival, it's all unfortunately a bit of a guessing game. Prepare for everything, I suppose. Your car and your camper van pass, take it on your phone, print it off if need be, then at least you're covered.
If you're on any kind of tablets, make sure you take them. Medication is, you don't want to lose it, obviously, so keep it somewhere safe. Put it in a little box, like a little Tupperware thing or something like that. Probably a good idea. Take some ID with you. I've decided, because I wasn't going to do this, right, but I need to take some ID with me because of the loyalty scheme.
Yeah.
You have to show ID. So whether it's a passport, a photocopy of your passport, or a driving license, you're going to have to take some ID with you to show them that you are who you say you are, to collect your loyalty money. If you're going to take any cash, put it in a bum bag. But ideally, don't take any cash because it's physical, and physical items can be lost. I also want to mention bringing hay fever tablets. Because
antihistamines,
I've bought some actually. They're only cheap, but I have worked at festivals before, and I worked at the Formula One years ago as a steward, and I was caught by surprise by the amount of pollen in the air, just because it's all grassy, isn't it? And you forget, if you live in a city, you might not be affected by it as much, but if you're suddenly in the countryside surrounded by pollen and stuff that makes your hay fever go, and you're unprepared, it can be very unpleasant. So yeah, it's probably if you're susceptible to that type of thing, bring some hay fever tablets. Obviously, when it comes to food, I would recommend bringing dry food with you because then it won't go off and it won't melt or anything, like breakfast bars, crisps.
Oh, melting. That's a bloody good point. I got chocolate in my fucking packed for me box.
Oh,
bloody
have
hell.
you?
I have to stick that in the cool box, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, no, dry food I totally agree with. What have I packed? I've packed pot noodles, crisps, peanuts, all those sorts of snacks. Drink-wise, non-alcoholic. If you want to bring some orange juice, don't pick up the stuff from the fridge because it means it needs to be refrigerated the whole time.
And it'll go off if you don't.
Yep. Same with milk. Was it UHT milk? Is it UHT?
Yeah. God, I haven't had that for years.
No, I know, but it's better off if you taking that sort of stuff instead of taking it out the fridge. Also, as a vegan, I'd also recommend don't get obviously cow's milk, oat milk, almond milk. Don't take it out the fridge because it will need to remain refrigerated.
Sweeties, crisps.
Ah, yes.
For when you you want snacks, don't you? While you sat around in the village, in the campsite. And it says gum. I guess if you don't want to brush your teeth the whole week, you can just chew some gum.
Oh, but no, that's worse though. If you're just taking gum just to freshen your breath and not actually brushing your teeth, that's gross. No, bring your toothbrush, bring your mouthwash, bring your toothpaste. Yeah. Oh no, gum. Yeah, I mean, if you've had something rather oniony, which I guarantee you will, because the burger is complemented with fried onions, gum is a good idea. Dispose of it correctly, though, for fuck's sakes. Don't just chuck it on the floor or chuck it in the bin. Put it in a bit of paper and put it in the bin. Dispose of it properly.
No glasses allowed. So if you're bringing alcohol with you, it's got to be decanted into plastic bottles, which is easy enough to do. But if they discover glass, they won't be happy. Also, it's just occurred to me, bring prophylactics, condoms, that sort of thing, birth control. Because if you do get lucky, we don't want any surprises, do we?
No, and if in doubt, they're selling condoms at Fat Frank's Camping, as we found out the day on the Click and Collect.
Oh, I'd forgotten
about that. I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That
50p for a Johnny. So yeah, if you get lucky, wear one.
Clothing. Now, the temptation is to pack too much. It's so difficult because I always buy stuff when I'm there, whether it's merch or whether it's in the markets. I always buy stuff and end up not wearing basically half of what I've brought with me. So it's a difficult balance, but I would recommend a hat because, A, it's going to be cold at night time. You forget how cold it gets at download at night, but you are basically in a field in June at night time when the sun goes down, and it can be very cold. Something for the top of your head. Also, to protect you from the sun, worth doing. I mean, you don't need me to tell you what sort of clothes to bring with you. Jeans and t-shirt or whatever you're going to wear. You know what you're going to bring. But, a spare pair of socks is probably a good idea. If you're going to bring wellies, get some socks for wellies because they can cause odd things in your feet, can't they? Unless you're... they rub against the soles of your feet and can cause blisters. So it's probably worth bringing plasters or... something to protect your feet with. Wellies, actually, is a must.
I'll tell you what, in 2019, I wore a pair of wellies the whole way around the arena on the last couple of days, and they were really uncomfortable. The wellies that you buy, make sure you're wearing the appropriate footwear with them, i.e. thick socks to sort of soften the blow walking around. Because the wellies that are bought on site had a very hard sole, and it was not comfortable.
I hate wellies. I hate them. But we've got to wear them if it's muddy. You'll regret it if you don't, because you don't want to fuck up your nice boots that you've got.
Well,
Yeah.
I bought a pair of walking boots from Decathlon for 35 quid. And to say they're waterproof would be an understatement. I can actually, there's a stream near us where I can literally stand in it up to just where that bony bit is on your foot, and my feet are bone dry. So if you're going to buy a pair of walking boots, make sure they are decent hiking walking boots that are waterproof as well.
Also, slip-ons, because when you're in your tent and you want to just perhaps nip across the grass to another, just wherever, and it might be dry, just some little sliders, little, as they call them nowadays, sandals or whatever. Have you got some sliders?
I've got some sliders. I'll be bringing my sliders for the showers because
Yes.
yeah, obviously a wet foot can obviously you can catch anything, verrucas or gammy fucking athlete's foot fungus shape.
Oh my God.
So yeah, pair of sliders in the shower, definitely recommended.
Oh dear. Also, bring some sunglasses. Let's be optimistic, shall we? Sunglasses, and if you're going to bring a costume, probably worth putting that in a separate bag, isn't it? I know you like to wear a costume. Are you going to be dressing up this time?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, we
apart
already
from-
discussed it, didn't we? The whole new metal thing. I'm literally just gonna be wearing my normal clothes, aren't I?
So it's not dressing up, it's just getting dressed. Camping equipment. Now, we have already covered this in the previous podcast in further detail, but I'll run through it quickly just in case there's anything that we perhaps haven't mentioned. Tent pegs, rope, zip ties. Zip ties! That's probably a good one, isn't it? Just in case.
Yeah, I mean, if you're bringing a gazebo, yeah, I suppose zip tying the top of the gazebo, tying the actual plastic to the poles would probably be a better idea than anything else, because even your duct tape could lose its adhesiveness over as time goes on. Or at least with the zip tie, you've actually got to cut it off.
Yeah, and if you've got, some people have inflatable tents nowadays as well. So duct tape, definitely. It's cheap. Get it from the pound shop. Bring it with you, for God's sake. Also, yeah, bungee ropes. I mean, they're always useful, aren't they?
Yep, again, holding down a tarp, holding down your gazebo, or even if you're bringing a trolley, it can hold your shit in your trolley. I always use them when I bring my trolley with me.
I did talk about this last time. Mallet, bring a mallet with you. Again, a lot of this camping stuff you can get from Fat Frank's or any other circular camping or whoever else happens to be there. Bring a torch with you, bring some batteries so that you can light the torch, and obviously your bed stuff. Bring a first aid kit. That's quite a good one, actually, a first aid kit. You can buy them already complete, can't you?
Yeah, so there are some cheaper ones that obviously sell. Obviously got like plasters and a little, I think there's bandages and stuff like that in them if you need them. Neil, you touched on a blister kit. Yep, I'm going to have to pick one of those up, I think, because, yeah, if your footwear isn't correct or is been a bit tattered and torn from the weekend's festivities, you will need a blister kit to make your life and your feet a hell of a lot better.
Didn't you go home once because you had blisters or something?
2019, my feet were fucking killing me, and I was literally I was struggling to walk. To the point where, yeah, I went home early and missed out on several decent bands.
Oh, no.
I was very annoyed. I was very annoyed with myself, but I physically could not walk, and I didn't want to sit down because you wouldn't be able to see shit.
And then you've just got obvious things like an airbed and a pump, earplugs, a sleeping bag, stuff like that. It does say flag. You are allowed flags in the campsites. So if you want to make it easier on yourself to find your tent among the sea of tents, which can be very tricky at night when, after the last band has finished and you're trying to make your way back to camp and you're pissed. It's much easier to find if you've got a flag. So make sure it's a nice flag, don't upset anybody. I think we've pretty much covered it there, haven't we?
Yes, I believe so.
Don't forget you can ask us questions or give us your viewpoint by sending us a message on our social media. Tell us your do's and don'ts. Tell us about something we've missed. Give us your opinion. Tell us what essentials we have not mentioned that you have taken with you. Just search for Festpod on the socials and let's have a chat. Next up, we're going to hear what's coming out of your mouth on social media. In this section, we're going to hear your answers to our question online. When we asked, because of the recent announcement about costumes, what's the best costume that you've seen at Download Festival? Because over the years, there have been some absolute crackers, haven't there? I've seen some amazing things.
Yeah, I have too. I'm straight out the gate with this one from Tracy Abraham. She said she saw the Jurassic Park team with the T-Rex. I do believe I saw that, and that was wicked. I'm a massive Jurassic Park, Jurassic World fan, and I thought that was absolutely awesome. So fair play to them. Do
you know, there's some amazing ones, and you've even, thankfully, put in some pictures. So if you want to see the pictures, go and have a look at this on our socials. A mob of Bob Ross costumes. Now, if you don't know who Bob Ross is, you must have seen old footage of this. I say old guy, but he's not that old. He's like mid-40s or 50 or something. And he had a big afro, white guy, and he was a painter. And he used to tell you how he was painting. I reckon this was an American TV show. But I don't think I've ever actually seen an episode. You probably find it on YouTube or something. But there was like there was a mob of Bob Rosses, and he used to paint these. He used to be quite chilled out. This is in the 70s, I think, and he used to paint these like landscapes. Just going to paint a little bush there, and he used to be like that, and a mob of Bob Rosses, and there's pictures of this, and it just made me piss. I just think this is so funny. I mean, what's the inspiration for that Download? I love that. I wish I'd seen that.
There's probably a meme that had gone viral, and someone just thought that'd be a cracking idea, and it was. Again, that was probably something that I've definitely seen in my time at Download. But yeah. Fair play to them. Matt
Stovall had written that one in. Josie Marshall says someone dressed as Big Bird, which is quite a commitment, isn't it? That must be a huge costume.
Huge costume, and even if it was, I mean that would just not do well in any weather. If it's too warm, the person inside is going to be dripping with sweat, and if it gets wet, it's going to be really heavy. So even if it's fake feathers, it's like going to be, that's going to be heavy.
Anthea Alcock says, not really sure what they were meant to be, but there was a whole load of them. And she's included a picture of somebody in what looks like a green skin-tight head-to-toe costume.
Yeah, green morph suit. Yeah, I've seen crowds of people, they look like all come in like different coloured morph suits. It's cool. It's different. It's unusual. It's nice. And it catches the eye, as it did for Anthea.
Oh, do you know what? Sathinder Navar has said Greg's Guy and Jaegerman.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to see, in Primark, they've started selling clothes, I'm talking about tops and bottoms here, with the Greg's logo on. Now, Greg's is a thing, or people want it to be a thing at Download, don't they? They want Greg's.
Yeah, no, there was within a couple of years where they've said they want like a Greg's store or a Greg's stand, which I would absolutely love as well. That particular person, I'm sure I've seen him in a full-on suit, like Greg's blazer and trousers and tie, and it looks hilarious. I think the same person, he came in like Greg's leggings one year.
Wow.
I've seen some of the Greg's tattoo before.
Really?
The Download.
No way.
Yeah, man. There's like in a pastry shop, and that's just full on, and that's just commitment. That's amazing.
Ghostbusters here. The picture of the Ghostbusters from Dave Kalinook. Ollie Walker says 2 pirates having a sword fight in a mosh pit at the Pilot. I didn't see that.
No, I missed that. That's cool. That's really cool. No, I totally missed that. I wonder who they were. Wonder where they were playing that to. I've got here Ashley Manning and Natasha Williams have both seen Pickle Rick.
Oh wow!
From Rick and Morty. That's awesome. I'm a huge Rick and Morty fan. It's fantastic.
Oh god.
So yeah, that's fair play to them.
Graham Webb saw 2 blokes dressed as a cock and balls, and He's in the middle there between two cocks and balls, which is quite fun. Someone arrived in what looks like fetish gear. Marianne Maz Stevenson says, well, I don't know if he's actually called this, but she's named him the Anal Slut. And he's got what looks like leather and chains. And, oh, my God, that's quite a costume.
I mean, there's some funny things you see at festivals. And that's why I love this question, Neil, the whole question, because there are some really weird things that you do end up seeing, including this one I'm about to read from Cal Ramone. Someone wore a Predator mask from the film Predator with a strap on and a T-shirt that said sexual predator.
See, there's some real imagination gone into that. I love that. Nicola Osborne has seen Mary Had a Little Lamb with Mary, her flock of sheep, and a sheepdog. Wow.
That's okay. Cool. That's a strange one. I have to admit, that's still kind of cool.
I mean, if you're all going to split up and watch your own bands, then that's going to look weird. But if you're all stick together through the whole time, then that's going to make a lot of sense and be very funny.
Yeah.
Spencer Lewis saw Strongbow Man. He's quite famous, this guy. He's basically, they've put a picture of him here. You know the boxes that you get your strongbow in?
Yeah.
Made a sort of a knight's costume, including helmet, out of lots of boxes. I mean, it's incredible. It looks amazing, this Strongbow Man.
That does look pretty cool. Like he's ready to go into battle for his strongbow.
Yeah, he is. Mitch Farrington says a stormtrooper in a tutu. Which
That's
is fun.
kind of funny.
Yeah, like that. Do you know what? I've seen some... Sorry, go on.
I said I've had some experience with a tutu at a festival, Bloodstock. I dressed up. So we've actually interacted with someone on the Facebook who used the GIF of Jim Carrey in his pink shirt and tutu from Ace Ventura. Yes. I did that at Bloodstock a couple of years ago.
Did you? Oh,
yeah.
I love it.
And I did that because of the band Cannibal Corpse. Because obviously during the film, he goes to a Cannibal Corpse gig. So there was a lot of people in Hawaiian shirts, like dressed up as Ace Ventura for Cannibal Corpse. And the lead singer absolutely loved it. Like he even said he was expecting to come out to a sea of black T-shirts and metal fingers, but he saw like a massive crowd of colourful Hawaiian shirts.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I think I might have seen this. Brian Elkington says, Jesus surfing at the pilot. I think I saw him, actually.
That was during Skindred, I think. I wasn't there for that. It was during Skindred. But the picture has made its way onto the internet as again, a sort of an advertisement for download.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
right.
That's awesome. Like I wouldn't have the balls or wouldn't have the guts, to get up and do that because you have so many people underneath you that are going to be carrying you. If one person isn't tall enough or strong enough, you're going down. And if you're stood up, that's a long drop.
You need guts and balls.
Guts and balls.
Alexander Toon says easily the best was Scott Hardwick dressed as the Pink Bastard.
Oh, yes. Just scrolled past that one.
And he's dressed as a superhero. It's a pink lycra skin tight costume with black leather pants and a cape and a cap and a pair of glasses. I mean, yes. Wow. I love it. I mean, this is so much fun. This is great. Michael Muscroft says someone dressed as Bo Selector's Michael Jackson. I'm not sure I saw that one as well, actually, because you've got the stupid glasses and the chin, and I love it so much.
I tell you what, that's actually a really good one. The characters from Bo Selector are really easy to do because you'll be able to find the mask somewhere, and I'm
not sure if I saw Mel B as well once.
Probably. Because all that is a bloke in a leopard skin dress or skirt.
That's so good. Yeah. So, I would encourage you to get creative, and you might go down as a legend if you wear an amazing costume and you know, you might be promoting Download for years to come, like Jesus was being held aloft.
Imagine that, Jesus promoting a metal festival when we were told for years that metal was satanic.
Oh, I've just had a thought. You know how every year at Download there's a plane that goes across with a message tied to the back of it that says "Jesus saves" or something like that. Do you think they'll return for this year?
Oh yeah, I bet they're planning their flyover.
Yeah, the banner's all made, ready to go.
Yeah.
I wonder what it'll say this year. If you like what you've heard, please give us a review wherever you found us. Perhaps click that like button if you're listening to us on YouTube. And search for us on the socials by looking for Festpod. You'll find us. And we'd love to hear what you've got to say about anything that we've got to say. So thanks for listening. We'll catch you at Download for a game of Festpod Feud. Bye. A Wilco Productions podcast. Bin bags, bring fucking bin bags.